Kamusta na kayo.
Hola, hola, everyone.
What's poppin', everybody? My name is Nico Blitz.
And I'm Jackie Ramirez.
And this is the Mexipino podcast, episode 46.
46.
There we are.
Yes.
We're inching closer to 50.
I know. That's pretty crazy to think about. We've done 50 episodes.
Well, so realistically, I think we should have hit like 52 because there's 52 weeks in a year.
Yeah.
But I think we literally missed like a couple weeks, like in the beginning of when we started the podcast.
Why did we miss a couple weeks?
I think we just got busy. And then, like traction just started happening on TikTok afterward. We're like, okay, we got to take this like more seriously.
Well, yeah, I mean, the intent was to always take it seriously. But I think we just like at that point, maybe we're really busy. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
But, we find time to make sure that, during our busy schedules that we record this podcast for y'all. So thank you all once again for tuning in. Shout out to our Patreon subscribers. Shouts out to our YouTube subscribers. Everybody who's followed us on Instagram, TikTok, all the social media accounts. We appreciate y'all.
I was actually looking at our YouTube count yesterday because I went on our subscriber count. We had 1.2 thousand subscribers.
Yeah, we're there.
Yeah, so I'm really happy about that. TikTok is still growing. TikTok, I feel like has slowed down for everyone, really.
I think it has, and I'm not entirely sure what it is. I know a while ago, the United States was actually trying to ban TikTok from the country.
And I think they are going to, are they not?
Well, I think it's kind of making sense why the TikTok numbers are kind of going down, and if they are just deciding to not push TikTok content across the U.S., that's why IG Reels is going popping for us. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And y'all keep our IG comments super lit.
Yeah, you guys definitely have a lot of opinions when it comes to the stuff that we post on Instagram and on TikTok and everything like that. And it's cool to see everyone's opinion. It's cool to see everyone's reactions to our opinions.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
One of these opinions, right? This goes back to Dating a Latino 101. And we had a couple comments that we wanted to bring up. I actually forgot to tell Jackie I wanted to talk about this on the pod.
Yeah, thanks.
But Jackie's sister-in-law actually responded.
Yeah, my sister-in-law put... So this was Nico saying that Latinas never forget and blah, 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 blah. And my sister-in-law commented and she said, "It's been 10 plus years and I still remember when Jacob," that's my brother, "promised to take me to watch a superhero movie, but on the day of, he ended up going with his friends. Ever since then, I don't watch superhero movies and always bring it up."
Jesus Christ.
And for her to hold a grudge for 10 years is hilarious to me because honestly, that's something that I would do. If you told me we were going to go do something together and then you ended up going to do it with your friends, I'd be okay, I don't ever want to do it now.
So, what's actually funny about that, because it had to do with superheroes?
What?
One of our friends, Ariana and Soy El Fool, our friend Ariana had commented on the same post. She said, "LMAO, 5 years ago, Soy El Fool, her boyfriend, and I were supposed to watch Wonder Woman together, and he forgot and watched it without me.
Ooh.
And I still, to this day, have not seen the movie because it was watched without me."
See, us Latinas, we're petty. We're petty. If you just do something to piss us off or just forget to do something with us or tell us that, you want to do something and we're going to do it together and then you end up doing it alone, we will never do that thing ever again because it's just okay, well, I guess not,
See, if I could speak for Filipino men. Look at her face. Look at her face. If I could speak for Filipino men, we would not watch a movie without our significant other.
That's a fucking lie. That is a lie. I just caught you in a lie.
What?
You watched the Britney Spears documentary without me.
Oh my God. That's a documentary. That's not a movie.
I don't give a fuck if it's I don't give a shit if it's a movie or if a documentary. I was really into Britney Spears and that whole drama that was going down. And you watched it without me.
Caught in a lie. Was I caught in a lie?
Yes, you were.
All right. With that being the only exception.
No.
That's the only exception I'm asking for. It's the one exception.
The one exception.
Okay. No. Never mind.
He said it. He said it.
Never mind.
You're not getting any more. You're not getting any more.
Oh, shit.
No, that's it. We have it on camera too.
Oh my God. I might just have to edit that out. I'm just kidding.
No.
Let's do a hard transition to what we did over this past motherfucking weekend before I, dig myself in a deeper grave. Jackie and I just actually got back from Vegas.
Yeah.
Can you believe this? So this is our lifestyle, right? Jackie was working that past Friday. She worked until about 7 o'clock. Mm-hmm. I picked her up and then we were on the road by 8. We got to Vegas by 12:30. Mm-hmm. It would have been quicker if it wasn't for this damn LA traffic, but we made it.
Yeah, we made it there. And then after that, we got there to our Airbnb, met up with Nico's friends, and then everyone was already drunk at that point. So then we were just like, okay, do we want to stay? Do we just want to sleep or go out? Shout out to DJ E-Rock.
Yes.
He hooked us up with just being that guy in Vegas, and we went to Jewel nightclub. It was actually my first time going to a nightclub in Vegas.
In Vegas?
Yeah. And we were out. We left the Airbnb at 1.
And then we got there maybe around 1:15, got inside the club by 1:20. It was quick. And then we stayed till 3.
Yeah, we stayed out till 3, and then we're up at 10 a.m. the next day. Our life is pretty crazy.
Yeah, pretty crazy. But
tiring too.
Yeah, super tiring. It was funny. We actually need E-Rock on the podcast because he was talking about all these songs that he A&R'd.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was talking about hella songs. I think he was talking about Super Sick with it. Maybe I Got Grapes. Oh, no. He A&R'd It's a Slumper by Turf Talk.
Yeah.
Do you know that song?
Yeah, well, yeah, you've showed me before.
It's a slumper. This is a slump. Yeah, that's one of my favorite songs ever.
But yeah, it was crazy. Because then it was funny too. He's DJing and just telling us his whole life story in the meantime too.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That was the best, And it's cool to see another DJ just do his thing and then just get back to reality really quick and then just talk in the midst of all the music.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
But I think for me personally, being a Filipino DJ, it's really cool to see other Filipino DJs like DJ E-Rock and DJ Franzen consistently do their thing in Vegas because it's a job that I never thought would actually exist, especially in this day and age. Well, rather, it's a job that I didn't think existed when I was younger. So to see it literally happen in front of my eyes and control the room is a beautiful thing to see.
Yeah, and you're up next.
Oh yeah, definitely up next.
Yeah.
We put that on wax. You feel me?
Oh, God. What?
On wax.
I've never heard.
You don't know this Bay Area lingo on wax?
You've never taught me that.
So on wax basically means it comes from when they used to put music on vinyl. So it would be forever. It's on wax.
Oh.
So in turn, when you say something's on wax, it's that's forever. Some real shit. It's forever. That's some permanent shit.
Interesting.
Yeah. Bay Area lingo 101. But we had a lot of interesting drivers during that time. Even though we drove to Vegas, we didn't necessarily use my car as much. We had a couple Lyft drivers. The first Lyft driver we had was actually
who was it?
It was the weird dude who just kept talking about he was driving celebrities everywhere.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he kept on talking about how he had talked about how he just drove a rock star.
Some rocks. He said someone from Sublime.
No, that was a few years ago.
Oh, okay.
That was from a few years ago. But then he started just telling us what was he telling us about? He was just
he was just gloating about everybody that he was driving, and me and Jackie were just dead ass tired at this time, and I know me and Jackie were looking at each other and we were just
respectfully, we don't want to talk. And we didn't tell him that. We just kind of let him do his thing, and we're just okay, oh really? That's so cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Oh, he was talking about this weird ass rock band that I actually know about.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. So this was the weird part about this specific Lyft rideshare driver, right? So I was on the side where I could actually see him, on his phone, driving and whatnot. And so he pulled out his phone, and he was rehearsing to himself, we could go this way, da 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 da. And the whole time I'm just thinking to myself, Well, you got the instructions on your phone.
Directions.
Like, you got the directions on your phone. And so that was number one. Number two, he full on, as we were driving, he had a microscope.
A magnifying glass.
A magnifying glass in his hand. And he was straight up looking at the directions. And I'm just like...
Through his phone. So he was looking at his phone through the magnifying glass.
1,000%. That was 1,000% what was happening.
I didn't see this because I was like on the seat behind the driver, so Nico could see him on the other side, but I did not know that.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking to myself, I'm just like, you could zoom in, bro. Like you could just literally grab your two fingers and zoom in on the directions. IPhone? Yes, it was an iPhone.
Interesting.
And so the magnifying glass was number two. Number three, I hate this when like Uber and Lyft drivers think they know the city more than the directions, because we went off from where the directions were supposed to take us. I knew we were supposed to hop on the freeway. This guy was full on taking us like through the
he was a taxi driver, wasn't he?
Taxi driver, Lyft. Okay,
I think he might have wanted like more money if he took like a longer route.
But you know what? That's what I was thinking too. I was like, this motherfucker is literally just taking us in a whole ass different direction when you could have just hopped on the freeway, because it would have only taken us 10 minutes to get back. Yeah. But it took us like roughly around 20, and I'm just like, why is it taking so long?
Yeah, and I knew the price was kind of like expensive too, and I was just like, there's no way. Like,
it was weird.
Yeah.
It was weird. But we did have a really...
He gypped us.
He did gyp us.
He gypped us.
He definitely gypped us. However, we did have a really good Uber Lyft driver. This one was legit rideshare at this point.
Yeah, this one was a rideshare one, and he was like super interesting. He had an accent, but I didn't know where he was from until he told us that he was from Ethiopia.
Yes.
And he had he like wanted to go back to Ethiopia for vacation to take his daughter. And then he told us a super interesting fact about Ethiopia and Mexico, because we started talking about our podcast to him. And he said that Ethiopia and Mexico actually have really good relations.
Yeah.
Because Mexico helped Ethiopia from being invaded by Italy. So I had no idea about that.
Yeah.
He's educating us on all this, and it was during the time where Italian soldiers, and they had already been in Ethiopia for I think a few years, but to avoid actually being overtaken, Mexico stepped in to help out Ethiopia, and because of that, now that they have really good relations, there is now respective monuments to Ethiopia and to Mexico in each city.
Yeah, so there's like I believe an Ethiopia Square in Mexico and like a Mexico Square in Ethiopia.
Yeah, so there's Mexico Square in Ethiopia, and then it has like a certain name, but I don't want to butcher it because I don't know how to speak Ethiopian. But in Mexico, there's what is it called? Hold on. It is called... Okay, so first there was a Plaza Ethiopia in Mexico, but then they also created a metro station, Metro Ethiopia station in Mexico City. And then when there was an earthquake that happened in Mexico, I want to say in like the 1980s, Ethiopia ended up sending like $5,000 to Mexico to help for victims of the earthquake too. So there's been like a long-standing relationship between Ethiopia and Mexico, and I didn't know about it. Maybe other people knew about it, but this was super interesting to me.
I mean, I didn't know about it either, obviously. I mean, it's just not part of like my, personal history. But something that really stuck out from our Lyft driver, the Ethiopian Lyft driver, was he was saying that, like it's moments like this where you see that us human beings, like we're all the same. We all go through the same struggle. And I know specifically he was talking about minorities. So if we're going to break it down to like Ethiopians and Mexicans, like... they go through the same thing. Know what I mean? Like the invasion of like Italy, and both countries like trying to protect each other like as this is going on, and just trying to like help each other survive, whether it be through earthquakes and whatnot. I know a couple times, based off the article we were reading, like the I think like the kings of Ethiopia like visit Mexico like pretty frequently. So like the ties are still there. I'm not entirely sure how strong, but it's cool to see these two countries just continue to grow and foster one another.
Yeah, and because of like, you know, because of Mexico helping out Ethiopia, Ethiopia is the only nation in Africa to have never been colonized by a European country.
There we go.
Period.
There we go.
Facts.
Shout out to Ethiopia. You know, I'd actually love to have that guy on the podcast.
Yeah, he seemed very interesting. It was like, rideshare drivers are very interesting because then like we had a whole talk like with that one guy that just wouldn't stop talking. Yeah. And then the next day we had a driver who just didn't talk at all.
It's
and
weird.
We're like, okay. Like, that's cool. Like, I said hi and he didn't say hi. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's like this weird... I've read and watched a lot of like YouTube videos about this, but basically there's like a science to talking to people, right? And when you start making it about like the person that you're talking to, that's when they start to become more interested. So let me kind of break it down. Jackie said we had one rideshare person who didn't talk at all, so he's omitted. We had another rideshare driver that just kept talking about himself. And then we have the Ethiopian rideshare person who wanted to talk to us about us.
That's true.
But you see how much more engaged we were with that?
Yeah.
So it's like this weird, it's like this psychology of talking to people and how to be a conversationalist. You don't talk about you talk about them so that they can continue to talk about them. And in turn, they'll end up talking to you about them. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah. I'm weird when it comes to that type of shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, my YouTube history will say, like, how to become a better conversationalist. And I'm just like, oh,
okay.
I want to click this. Let me see what this is about.
Yeah, but it was cool. Vegas was a trip, and then we came back, and then we just kind of have been going on a bender. Yeah,
we really have. So basically, after Vegas, I think it was like Sunday, you know, we had driven back to LA. And then the following Monday, Jackie ended up having work. And then I came to realize, like, oh my goodness, we forgot we have a birthday party to attend tonight on Monday night. And shout out to our friend Casey Ma. Happy birthday, Casey. We love you, my friend.
Casey. Thank you so much for inviting us.
So she invited us to the one, the only Magic Castle in LA.
Yeah, in Hollywood. But
Hollywood.
Yeah.
Oh, Hollywood. Okay.
Yeah, but the Magic Castle, if you guys don't know where it is, it's kind of like the central for all magicians. And like, it's a very, very, very exclusive, like, I don't know, club. Yeah, it's like a club, right? Because you have to, like, some people are members of this, and you can't get invited unless you know a magician or you know somebody in there. And it was pretty crazy. It was really huge. You can't take pictures, you can't take videos in there. And it was really super interesting. Like, I love magic. I love just being entertained like that.
Yeah, I love magic too.
I guess you could say I'm a skeptic because I always want to know like how they did it, but I believe in it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a skeptic in the sense like I just want to know how you did it. But I do believe that there is like magic.
I think so. Yeah, I believe in magic too because some things are just very
like how did
unexplainable, right? So, for instance, what had happened, basically there are multiple rooms within this within this castle. And within the castle, you could basically just like filter in between like any room as long as, you know, you're not just disturbing the peace.
Right.
There are a couple rooms where, you know, they have like regulated like seats. So let's just say 50 people can hop in a room and that's it. Nobody else can walk in. So Jackie and I, we weren't able to go into like those big rooms, but we did go into the rooms where we could kind of just filter in and out. So this one magician, he was a mentalist. Yeah, he was a mentalist.
Yeah, that was his magic, was mentalism.
Yeah. So the mentalist, basically, he could read minds is what he claims he could do. And he had given me a piece of paper. He said, on the back of the paper, write your initials, which would be NT. Inside of the paper, write one fun fact about yourself and write your full name. All right, cool, whatever. mind you, I have a button up, I have a jacket on, I have a tie on.
Basically, his whole body is like just covered because there is a dress code there, and they are very strict about it.
Yeah, and the reason why I bring up this particular dress code is because I wanted to see if he could figure out that I have a Pikachu tattoo on my right forearm. So what I did on the paper in turn was I wrote, I have a Pikachu tattoo on my right forearm. And so he comes back.
And then you wrote your name at the bottom of it too, like your full name.
Yeah, and I wrote my name at the bottom of this piece of paper.
And then you closed it, sealed it, and that was it.
Yes.
He was not even in the room when Nico was writing this.
Yes, exactly. And so by the time he was like, okay, he basically picked out my paper, and then he was like, I'm just going to read your mind. He is kind of just like holding the paper and like scanning it against my body, and then
he guessed your name.
He guessed my name. Yeah, that was actually the first thing he did.
The first thing, Nico's forgetting all of this, but the first thing he did was guess Nico's name correctly, and he was just kind of looking at him. He was just like talking to himself, and then he looked at him and goes, Nicholas, and then Nico goes, yeah, like, well, technically Nicolas, if we want to get.
Well, so what was funny about that was that I was going to correct him and say it's actually Nicolas, but then he just got it right anyway. So I was like, whatever. It's Nicholas. And so eventually, he's taking this paper, he's like scanning my body, and then he ends up like scanning, like, he says, body, right? And I'm like, yeah. And then he's scanning like my right arm. He's like, you have a marking on your arm? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, it's a tattoo. And I'm like, yes. He's like, it's a character. I'm like, yes. He's like, you have a character tattooed on your forearm. And I'm like, yes. He's like, can you show everyone? Then it was Pikachu, and I was just like, oh my God, this is kind of crazy.
Funny is
this is kind of crazy.
What's funny is that Nico told me, he was just like, I told him, I was like, what did you put? And he's just like, I won't tell you, like, you know it, like, you'll figure it out once he starts doing it if he gets it right. So I was like, okay. And so I saw that he was scanning his body, and as soon as he said body, I was just like, oh my God, it's his bigger, like, Pokemon tattoo that was on his left shoulder. So I was just like, okay. So the guy started scanning your body, and then he started going to your right arm, and I was just like, oh, he's about to get this wrong, because I thought you put like the bigger tattoo that you have. And then I was just like, he's about to get it wrong. But then he's just like on your forearm, and I was just like, oh my God, what the hell? Like, there's the Pikachu one, there's the Blitz one, there's the date that you have, and I was just like, oh my God, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah, insane. It's like stuff like that I just can't really... Yeah. I can't explain how somebody did that, because I know like one magic trick with cards, and it's really just like a sleight of hand. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, there was the one that Elton did on me, the 7 of cloves.
Oh yeah. You want to explain that one?
What was it? It's cloves or clove? I don't know.
Cloves.
Yeah. Well, anyway, there was like a friend within our, like, the group that we were with, and he was a magician himself, and he has, a membership at the Magic Castle too, and he was telling like everybody, like, he was doing card tricks, and he's just like, oh, why don't you pick a card? And I was just like, okay. So then he was shuffling the deck, and he's like, I'll just, basically pop out the card that you call. And I was just like, okay. So I said the 7 of clubs. I think it's cloves. Isn't it cloves? I don't know. Cloves. 7 of cloves. And then he had the deck in one hand and just popped out the card. And I was just like, oh my God, like, what the heck? Like, that's so cool. He puts it back in, and then he like shuffles it, and then he starts saying like, all right, tell me when to stop and get that card. And I'm looking at it, and I grab it, and then I hold it, and he's like, it's a 7 of cloves. And I was just like, oh my God, what the hell? Like, yeah. Because I saw him put it at the top, and then it went into like the middle, and I was just like, how the hell did that happen? Like, he did 2 tricks in one. I was just like, what the heck?
Yeah, I don't know. I can't explain that.
Yeah, like
There was one thing I could explain from like one of his tricks. He had a coin, and basically the coin like shifted from like his hand, and I was so close. I was literally so close, and I just saw the coin. He had it in his right hand, and I saw him pop it, like basically with like, you know, the middle of his hand, and it like floated up like quickly. It was like so quick.
that takes skill though too in itself.
No,
like,
it takes plenty of skill. Like I can't knock it, but like when you're far away, it just looks like
it's levitating. Because he was showing us like a gravity and anti-gravity trick.
yeah.
And so he was just like, this is gravity. He drops the coin and then he goes, and this is anti-gravity. And he just pops the coin back up. And we're like, what the fuck? Like, how does that even happen?
Yeah, insane.
Technically, it is what he is doing.
Yeah. I mean, that is really skillful. I wouldn't know how to even like start doing that.
Yeah.
I just remember there was this one kid, I think his name was, I'm not going to put his name out there, but in high school, I think he had gotten like a congratulations from like his parents for graduating. And so what he ended up doing was that he spent $1,500 on a magic kit.
Priorities. I fuck with it though.
I don't vote because he never pursued the magic shit. It's like, bro, you wasted $1,500 on a magic kit that you're never gonna use.
But guess how many magic tricks that he probably uses from that magic kit? Probably a lot. He probably uses all of them.
He probably uses none of them. I mean, shit. If I was a magician, I'd be running up Instagram so hard with just like the most random magic things I could figure out. I'd be pulling bunnies out of my ass.
Oh my God. Chill, babe.
Oh, I'm just saying.
Chill.
What?
Anyway.
Wouldn't you want to see a bunny just pop up?
Yeah, but not out of your ass.
Well, that would be like the satire with my tricks. I'd make it like hella funny. What?
Nothing.
Or like I'd pull a wand like out of my freaking mouth and just.
I actually know someone who can do that.
Really?
Yeah, like the cards. But she's not very good at sleight of hand, so I can always see it in her hand.
Oh. So then what did you see? Like you just saw her like putting the cards back
like
in her hand or what?
She has them like in her hand like this. And like I don't think she realizes that like there's certain camera angles that you can see it. So like she'll go like this and then she'll start taking the cards out. I'm like, I kind of saw it, but okay. Like,
magic or not.
Yeah. And that's literally like probably the one of like 2 card tricks that she could do. So like I kept on seeing it on Instagram. And I was just like, okay, I'm tired of this.
I get you. There is one magician that I did want to bring up, and there's actually like a famous Filipino magician. His name is
Kent
Oliver.
Why did you say it like that?
Well,
he's actually an illusionist.
Yeah, an illusionist, which basically means like he'll make something look like it's there, it's not there, so on and so forth. But Jackie and I actually just finished watching like a YouTube video about this guy, Kent Oliver. And basically his tricks, you ever see those tricks where you get girls who are like, you know, dressed up and then you kind of put like a sheet over them? Like basically these girls would just change clothes.
Yeah.
Every time the sheet was like over.
I feel like I know how that one works just because like for like ballroom dancing too, like they have those quick changes and it's literally just like a snap of one thing and then it like you move a certain way and then it just kind of like
falls off.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I need to see it though. Like I need to see like a dress actually snap off like that.
Let me see it here. Because they're like a lot of ballroom dancers do that too. But they kind of do it like, yeah, like I'll show you. Hold on. Let me see if I can find one. Quick change. Close.
I'm going to put those applause in there to kind of just like kill off the dead space for a sec.
Let's see. Hold on. I think it's one of this one. I don't know. Quick change. Close magic. So like, I think maybe I don't know this one. Basically what they do, so like this girl, she's like probably going to change right now and off. Like she has like, going to use the fire to cover her quick change. But essentially what the quick change is like
what the hell?
A snap of something and then they transition into that. You get me?
I get you.
Some other,
so it's like a button basically.
Yeah, but there's some like they constantly do quick changes that I can't explain. I'm talking about like the 1 to 2 like quick changes.
Well, yeah, if you could do a quick change without the sheets and all that, I would be very impressed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if I literally just saw you and like your clothes just changed magically and I'm just like,
what the fuck?
Like, how the fuck did you do? Like,
yeah,
where the
like
fuck are the clothes?
If it's just a snap.
Yeah, if it's a snap, like, I'd be very much more impressed. I'm not saying I'm not impressed, but, like, I'd be more impressed.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah, but there are some explanations for some that I feel like I can figure out. Others, I'm just like, I have no idea how you did that.
Yeah.
But I really want to go back to the Magic Castle and see, like, one of the bigger shows.
Well, there was actually one trick that I also could not explain. And Jackie was actually a part of it. So this lady was asked to give the same magician that involved me, a like little trinket of some sorts. Trinket. And it was like this little elephant.
Yeah.
And so basically what had happened was that the magician said, get this little elephant.
I'm going to walk out of the room.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to walk out of the room. He's going to take 2 audience members with him so they can make sure that he doesn't look. And her friend was going to hide the little like elephant statue anywhere in the room that was accessible.
Yeah. And then the first thing she ended up doing was like putting it like behind her bra, and then everyone is just either laughing, and then there's one person who was just like, no, I think it has to be accessible.
No, that guy who said it was like working for the Magic Castle. Because they have to monitor the shows too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he was just like, it has to be accessible. He's not going to reach into your bra and grab it, you know?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You catch a case.
Yeah, and so then the friend had put the little elephant. It was probably like, just like...
super...
it was probably the size of maybe like a nickel.
Yeah.
And she put it inside someone's drink. And... so then the guy comes back. He's like, okay, like, let's go ahead and find it. And he asked an audience member, and he couldn't really, like, she was giving him, like, a general sense, but he couldn't really find it. And he's all like, you know what, let's sit down. Sometimes it just doesn't work for certain people. He's like, who else knows exactly where the elephant is? And I raised my hand. He's like, okay, come up here. And I grabbed his arm because he told me to. He's like, think about where I have to go. Don't say anything. Just tell me with your mind. Just tell me with your mind. And I was like, okay. So then I was trying my best not to like look at the girl who had the elephant in her drink.
Yeah.
So then she was just like, I was just holding it, and I kept on saying in my head, I'm like, go to your right. It's with the girl. It's in her drink. It's in her drink. And I'm saying it in my head. And then he starts going to the right. And then I'm just like, okay, I was telling him in my head, like, if he actually could, I was telling him, like, you're in the right area. Just go to the second person. It's in her drink. And he was going. And then he looked, and at one point I was looking, he told me, he's like, look where you want me to go. And then, but he wasn't looking at me. And then when he looked at me, I looked at him because I didn't want him to like go off of that.
That's funny.
Really wanted to like see if he could do it.
Yeah.
And so then, like I was telling him with my mind, but I didn't want to make it easy physically. So I was just kind of like, just not giving him any indicators. And then he asked the girl to stand up, and then he's like, can I grab that? And he grabbed her drink, and he he swirls it, and then he's like, that's it right there, is it not? I was like, what the fuck is going on? So he found the elephant, and I helped him.
The elephant in the room, ladies and gentlemen.
Good joke.
Not the Latina.
Oh my god. Stupid.
Can we consider that an inside joke if you guys laughed about it?
Yeah. If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. Well, I think that's all we really got for the Mexipino podcast, episode 46. 46, yeah. I think our next podcast, it might actually be a little bit before New Year's or after New Year's. Maybe before.
We could do like a New Year's resolution type of thing, recapping our years.
Well, I think Sabrina and Jason might want to be on it.
Oh, yeah, we could do that.
Yeah. So we could shoot live from Las Vegas, Nevada.
Yeah.
Maybe we get Iraq on too.
Oh, yeah. And then we'll also be having a few more guests on the Mexipino podcast very soon because I know you guys are probably tired of our faces.
Or voices.
But we will have a bunch of guests coming in the new year, in the very first month of January. We could, I guess we could say it because we know where they're going to come. So we'll have Justin, who runs SoCal Filipinos. So if you guys know them on Instagram, I'm pretty sure you guys do.
Yep.
We will have him on the podcast. We will also be having AJ Barrera, which is a psychic medium on the podcast. I've had the pleasure of already meeting AJ, so I really want him to meet Nico. I want him to do maybe a reading for both of us. So we'll see how that goes. Either a psychic reading or a medium reading. I'm fine with either or. So we shall see. And then a bunch of others too. We'll hopefully have Iraq. We'll hopefully have my sister-in-law, Denise, because I know we want to do another mental health episode. And she is very much in that field. So, yeah.
Yeah. Amen to that. Well, my name is Nico Blitz.
I'm Jackie Ramirez.
This is the Mexipino podcast. Adios, everybody.